Okay, well now we're beginning the assembly procedure. Fitted the water pump on, got the bolts in place. The torque on these, the enthusiast manual says between 14 and 19 pounds. Now once the thermostat housing has been put in place, the next part to go in would be this plate right here. Now make sure that you have your markings facing out, and everything lines up. This is the tensioner pulley. So what I'm going to do is put it in finger tight. The next thing I'm going to do is there's a tension spring that goes and attaches here. And here's a little nub on the water pump. That's the other end where it's supposed to go. I'm going to take some needle nose pliers. And I'm going to try to muscle this hook over onto the nub like that. And there you go. Now what you'll want to do is grab the belt tensioner, move it all the way back, and tighten it down and lock it down. That way you'll have enough room to put the belt on. And the next part that goes in is the this pulley right here, idler pulley. Okay, now all we need to do is torque these down. We need to be very careful when we do it so that none of the cams move. This is still being held in place by the wrenches, so I don't think that should be a problem. The enthusiast manual says that the bolts for the cam sprockets should be set to 40 foot-pounds. Okay. Next comes the fun part, the actual installation of the belt. Okay, well, the method I use to try to get the belt on is as follows. I put it around the crankshaft pulley first, I ran it up around here, and held it in place with the right hand. With the left hand, actually I avoided the idler pulley at first, or the tensioner, and went directly to the this cam over here. Now as you can tell, I barely have it on, so I pretty much just put it about 1/4 of an inch on the sprocket. Then I started muscling it onto the tensioner over here. Now I finally got it hooked on, so all I need to do is start applying even pressure and I should be able to slip the belt on. Okay, well, I managed to get the belt on. All we have to do now is release the tension on this bolt over here so the spring tensioner can do its thing. And then we need to start checking belt deflection and the amount of tightness right over here. We'll do that using a straight edge and a ruler. Okay, well, I've managed to slip the alternator belt back on over the water pump. Next, what I'm going to do is put on this part of the shroud, the timing belt cover. Okay, now before installing the valve cover gasket, according to Miata.net's garage section, what we need to do is add a little bit of gasket maker to a few key points. They're basically on either side of the cams, right here and here, at these points, and then also over by the cam angle sensor on either side over here where the gasket rounds this metal piece. Okay, now once the valve cover is in place, look around and make sure that the gasket isn't pinched anywhere or come loose from the groove in the valve cover. Also, it's a good idea to make sure that you didn't get any wires or anything trapped in there. Now, as far as installing the valve cover bolts, it's recommended that you start kind of in the center and work your way in an outward spiral. Okay, well, the valve cover is on, the spark plugs are in. Next we're going to do is these little lines right here that go to the thermostat housing, and then after that we'll put on power steering and AC belt that goes around the crank. Now there is a specific sequence to adjusting this to the right tension. Now first what you need to do is turn this bolt right here till you get to the desired amount of tension, about 8 to 9 millimeters on a new belt worth of deflection. Once that's done, then you can start tightening down, let's see, this bolt right here. Then there's the one that's right down up, right down in here. It's on the bottom of the bracket. And then last, you tighten this nut, or I guess this bolt right here. Okay, well, we're getting towards the end. I'm starting to run out of parts. And this is the crossover tube. Very simple to do. Just a hose clamp here, hose clamp over here, and just these two rubber hoses. Okay, well, the radiator fluid has been topped off. Everything is together. Now we just got to see if it all comes together and fires up. Well, that concludes our timing belt change. In the future, the next thing to do would be the soft top and probably little minor things in the interior like the glove box and the windows. Alright, see you later.